She wore a white button-down shirt tied at the waist, plaid skirt, and knee-high socks. Accessories included a gray sweater to wear around her neck, a CD, assuming her own, and a microphone. This was Baby One More Time, Britney Spears, and I had to have her again. I don't shop on Craigslist often. I'm more of an eBay guy. Etsy occasionally, but sometimes what you get is shit. And the dolls, they can't just photograph well. You have to believe whoever owned them really cared for them, really put the time in. It's more like adopting, really. You're not purchasing used goods, you're passing along a legacy. You're playing a part in destiny. The collector offered me 4 Britney Spears dolls as a set for $200, but that seemed like too much money to spend on nostalgia, so I decided I'd get one doll. One doll to satisfy whatever urge I had for going back into my past. I said I'd pay $50. He countered with $75. His ad just sort of appeared on Craigslist. And he had exactly what I wanted, probably before I even knew I wanted it. Growing up, I would always play at my friend Megan's house. And she had so many dolls. She had them all. She had Barbies, the Spice Girls, and Britney. Eventually, I asked for a doll of my own, and I was young enough that no one seemed to care. They cared later, though. By the time I was in 4th grade, I had 10, maybe 15 dolls. I bought them with money I earned on my paper route. I didn't have any Barbies, though. That's where I drew the line, whether I knew it or not. I had Barbie's athletic friend Stacy. She was a gymnast. I remember showing her off to my Aunt Carrie, who took care of me. I remember thinking, Aunt Carrie will be impressed. Stacy's an athlete. After about 3 months into lockdown, I would stay up at night thinking about what happened to those dolls. They used to make me so happy. I would play for hours and hours, putting on shows, probably before I even knew I wanted to be an actor. I would set up the stage in my closet. I'd open the doors only for showtime, only when Aunt Carrie was there, and she'd watch the dolls perform. Aunt Carrie was a polite viewer when she wasn't overworked. Quarantine gave me too much time to think. If you asked me in February, I wouldn't have ever even known that I had a collection of Britney Spears dolls. I countered his offer with $60. He wrote back $65. You've got a deal, I said. And he dropped off the doll at my door later that week. I got the Baby One More Time album on a family outing to Sam's Club. I always managed to find the CD section. I took it home and memorized every song by heart, almost as if they were diary entries from Britney herself. She's been my big sister ever since. Aunt Carrie came over for dinner the other night. She's low risk, so we see each other pretty often. Remember this? I say. Look at that, she says. Do you remember? I ask. Yes, she says, but vaguely. I don't really believe her. We eat mostly in silence. She compliments the sauce I made for the chicken, just to knock off Bernays. I ask her about work. You used to put on shows, she says. Almost far away, she says it. Yes, I did. Is that how you knew? Knew what? That you wanted to be an actor. Before she goes, I loan her a book and I promise I'll see her again soon. She's all alone. Well, so am I, but somehow it's more important to note how alone she is. And hey, I have Britney to keep me company. But this isn't some quarantine breakdown moment. I'm not about to start talking to dolls. I just want to remember what it was like to hold her again, to capture that excitement. The excitement I got wanting to create, wanting to perform. At night, now it's getting cold, I put her sweater on around her shoulders. We sit on the couch and watch one of the old tours on DVD at least once a week. This week we watched the Dream Within a Dream tour that they filmed in Vegas at the MGM. It's a classic. And Carrie got me that DVD the first time, after a particularly traumatic summer at camp. Being called out for being different is recreational activity, just something you do after archery. I don't dwell, though. Aunt Carrie could tell I was upset, so she took me to the nice mall. I got to pick out that DVD. I saw the tour live, too. I saw her from the pit, and I swear she gave me a little wink when they lowered her under the stage after Crazy. I'm not talking to dolls. The collector did reach out to me again, though. He said I might be interested in the Sometimes doll dressed exactly like in the music video. I tell him no thanks, but he says, let me know if you change your mind. I suppose it wouldn't be terrible to have 2 dolls. Then I could display them on a shelf or something. At night, she stays in the living room. She wore a white crop top turtleneck sweater and white drawstring pants. I got her last week after the collector messaged me again. He found me on Instagram after I posted a selfie with Baby One More Time Britney. He must have found me via the hashtags I used. I told him I wasn't interested in getting a second doll, which at this point was a lie, but he told me how much he knew I cared. I can see it in your eyes, he said. I want to go to someone like you. He made me a good deal, and now I have her. He buzzed my building to drop off the doll, and I was real curious to see what he looked like. His social media is all dolls. But I promised not to open the door so we could have a contactless delivery. So I waited at the peephole. I hear him coming up the stairs, and then shit, my phone rings. It's Aunt Carrie. So I get up and go check my phone, and by the time I get back to the door, the collector's gone. But I take her out of the box. I just sit there for a while, right on the floor of my hallway. In 5th grade, I remember taking all my dolls and putting them in the box in the back of my closet. Aunt Carrie had been working late the day before. When she got home, I guess it was a little too persistent in her coming to see my closet performance. She asked me, how much longer will you be doing this? I know she was overworked. That's why I was helping her unwind, but maybe she was right. Maybe I had outgrown this part of my life. Besides, I was acting in school plays at this point. I had my own stage. I didn't need to share with my older sister anymore, right? Aunt Carrie came over for dinner a few days later. Do you like the new doll? I asked. Yes, she said. We had our dinner. Are they very expensive? She asked. Not very. Camp was the place I got called fag for the first time. I didn't understand why, but it made me so angry. When I came home at the end of summer, I took all my dolls out of their box and I ripped their heads off. And it wasn't fair. I know they didn't do anything wrong. Do you remember when I stopped playing with them? I asked Aunt Carrie. I don't remember anything, she said. After she left, I see the collector message me again. He says he has the doll from the Crazy music video, and he can offer me a good deal. I ask him how his night's going. I tell him about Aunt Carrie and her thoughts on the dolls. I don't play with dolls, he says. I just collect them. We talk late into the night. She wore a metallic green crop top and black sweatpants rolled over. This time when the collector came, I waited by the peephole. Only it was raining, and he had his poncho on, and the hood was pulled up over his face, so I couldn't make out any of his features beyond his mask. Oh well. Next time. Next time, what am I saying? I already have enough dolls as it is. Collector says I got a great deal, but I would have been better off getting the set of 4. Have you heard her new single yet? I ask him. No, I don't listen to her music. I just collect things. Well, I like it. Swimming in the Stars. She released it on her birthday. It's one of the purest vocals she's ever given. Ever. I listen to it about 20 times a day. About that last doll, he says, don't you want it? I really shouldn't be getting any more dolls, I tell him. But you need to complete your collection. Aunt Carrie's on her way over for dinner. So I have to start getting ready. I tell him I really gotta get going. He says, okay. And then I want to tell him, so I say, it was her, you know. I tell him all about how Aunt Carrie lost it that day. That kid who called me faggot at camp. And how my whole retaliation was to take all the dolls out of my collection and decapitate them. Well, I don't like that, he says. I tell him I gotta get going. Before Aunt Carrie comes over, I put all 3 dolls in the bedroom. I don't like that at all, he says. But I don't see that message until much later. His messages became increasingly violent. But he was always sure to say that no harm would be done to me as long as I just gave the dolls back. I'm coming to collect the dolls, he said. I wasn't worried. I never leave the apartment. It's not like I'd be outside and he'd find me and shake me until the dolls fell out of my jacket. He wouldn't come to the apartment dressed as a Fresh Direct guy. No, that didn't make any sense. I don't want to hurt you, he said. You don't deserve the dolls. Well, I paid for them. I can't listen to Britney music without the dolls nearby anymore. I'm not playing with them. I don't put on shows, but I do imagine what it would be like to perform my own arena show with my chosen set list, which B-sides to play for the diehards in the pit. I don't want to hurt you, he said. I was watching the Femme Fatale tour when I hear a knock at the door. I go to the peephole and it's the collector. He's wearing a poncho again, but this time black, and an N95 mask. His hands are behind his back. I wonder what he's holding. It's me, he said. I've come to collect the dolls. I backed away from the door. I don't think I've ever walked backwards before in my life. It always felt like such a fucking cliche. He knocks again. Please don't upset me. I pause the TV. I grab the dolls. I run to the bathroom and I shut and lock the door. I don't think to grab my phone, but I'm not worried, right? He can't get through the door. I hear knocking again. I hum along to Swimming in the Stars and move the dolls along the ledge of the bathtub. I imagine it would be the first song that she performs before Till the World Ends in the encore. I miss one of the days when she would end the shows with Baby One More Time, but you know, it's not a knock on the new material, it's just nostalgia, you know? Each doll is taking her final bow when he knocks on the bathroom door. Femme Fatale was such a weird time to be a fan. It's arguably one of her most successful albums. Every song is a certified bop. But you could just tell she wasn't feeling it. It was a weird time to be a fan, to love the Audible product, but when she isn't feeling it, it's just so disappointing. I hear him open the door to the bathroom. And as he slides open the shower curtain, I hug the dolls to my chest. I can't give them to you, I said. They're mine. I need them. I've come to collect the dolls, he said. As he swung at my neck, I thought of her and all that she's done for me. My big sister, my best friend.